So here's a little video just to take you through a new feature coming with the next update, which is the course overrides feature. So course overrides basically allows us as designers to override, funnily enough, some built-in game objects, predominantly or mainly so far anyway, the T markers and what our pin and flag looks like. So the actual script itself, which the game uses, which I've added to this game object, is this course override script, and it's this script which the game reads, and in it you can see you can set various things: the flag texture, pole texture, colour of the wrap, your different T markers and things like that. So to make this all a bit easier and sort of user friendly, I've created a front end for this, which is the under the tools menu, the course overrides editor. So we'll open that up. I'll just move this across a bit so you can see. And what we've got here is basically a front end which allows us to set all these things. So here you can see we've got slots where we can set our black, blue, white, yellow, green, red, junior and par 3 T markers. Our flag texture, so the texture that appears actually on the in-game flag. The texture for the flagpole, which by default is like the stripy black and white, but you could set like a plain white texture here to make it an all white flag post, or as you'll see in this demo I'll set it to like a wooden looking thing. The flag wrap colour, which is where the flag attaches to the pole, you can set a colour. And then also we've got a way to preview these so we can see what they'll look like in game. So you could then adjust the scaling and things on your game object to get an idea of the size and where they're going to place on a T box. So what I'll do first is I will set my T marker objects. So I've got a DPR T marker asset which is available. I'll probably put it in the base project when that comes new, but for now I'll just drag these in so you can see what these are. I'll just click on one so you can see it. It's basically this wooden block that we made previously, so I'll drag these in. So for each of my colours, that's the green, the red, white, yellow, and these can be anything. They don't have to be specific T markers. You could set a sphere, or you could set a bench we've seen, or whatever you want really, any sort of object, and you can get an idea of the scale. So I don't know if I've got anything in here which I could set. A little small rock anywhere perhaps. What have we got in here? Rocks and boulders. Have we got a small rock in here? That's rock 7. We'll set rock 7 for our junior. We'll set rock 5 for our par 3 T markers. Right, so flag texture. This is basically a texture that will appear on the flag, as I said before. If I come into the course overrides folder, in the resources folder you'll see we've got a flag template, and this is what you need to make your flag up to. So you need a 5x5, a 512x512 texture, but the only area visible on the flag is 512 by 385. So I'd advise editing this template, so you, in like Photoshop or GIMP, and put your flag texture in the to cover the yellow box. Effectively, don't use this empty space. So I've already made one of these up as we're on Tori, so I just made up a quick Tori flag. You can see it's this one here. If you click on here now, this Tori flag. You can see all I did was drag this Torrey Pines logo over the top. I filled out the yellow with a fill to make it all yellow, then just drag this on as a new layer. So that's my flag logo. My flagpole, just so you can see what it's doing, I've got a cherry wood texture, which I'll use here, which is just this. It's just a texture that's in here, like a wooden sort of texture looking thing. And then my flag wrap colour, I'm going to leave it as black. Yeah, it'll just be like a black edging down the thing. Obviously if you don't set any of these, or you never add course overrides or use defaults, but yeah, this is where you set them up. So once you've made all those changes, as per the tool, you must press update below after making changes. So if we update these, you'll see what happens when you open the tool. It actually automatically added this course overrides game object into the scene and added that script, and you can see when we click this update button, it added all these all the settings we set in here is now automatically added to the script, and it's in our viewer. What you can also do, so now we can actually, if you sent this now, if you then close this down, built the game, all these things would then apply in game, but we don't actually know what they look like yet. So we'll open this back up, and what this does, it looks at this course override script and repopulates this all in here, so it's automatically saved. What we can do is we can preview our T-boxes or T-box marker, and also it will allow us to preview our pin as well. So let's preview our yellow T marker. So we'll select that and then click Add T's and Pin Example. And you'll see in the middle of this T-box, let's close this down for now, you'll see all these clone gain objects have suddenly appeared, messing up your hierarchy. Hopefully that'll remind you to delete them. You can see on this T-box now, it's given us a copy of our yellow T marker that we set. These won't be placed exactly in the right rotation or the right position. It just puts them in the middle of the T-box at the correct distance apart for in-game, so you can get an idea of how wide T markers are, so if your T-boxes are going to be too narrow and stuff like that. And you can see the scale of them, and then if you thought, well, that T marker looks a little bit small, you could then come into your T marker yellow and you could scale it up a little bit. And then we'll go back into our course overrides, update our course overrides, we'll clear our T's to get rid of the ones we've got, and add new ones. Oops, actually put it on black, we put it on the right colour. So we'll preview our yellow. You see they're a little bit bigger. Still not big enough, so let's clear those down. Let's make them super big. Hopefully this works. I'll update it again. You can see, a bit too big. You get the gist. So that's how you would use this in practice, and then they'd appear this size in game, so you can get an idea of the scale and position and things like that. The other thing it does is it allows us, it also, as well as adding T markers, it'll add those to every T box. They'll all be the same colour, so you can just go to any T box and you can preview them. But again, let's say we now want to just check our junior ones with just Rock 7. Clear them down, it gets rid of them all out of our scene. Let's add T's. You can see those rocks were far too big. So again, you'd then go click on your junior T marker, which is this Rock 7. Or you might want to set those, you want about a quarter of the size, I'd guess. Update our overrides, clear our T's, add them back in again. You can see we've now got rocks, so that's what our junior T's would look like. So you use rocks. And then our Power 3 ones, let's see what these would look like. Let's clear our T's, add our T's. You can see we've got little mounds of rocks where our T markers would be. And that's exactly as they'd appear in game. So that's your T markers, and then finally we'll just whiz down to a green, and again it'll put a pin on every green. And you can see you can check your logo and see how it'll look. This flag's obviously extended more than it would be in game. They droop down a bit, but there are plans, obviously it'll ripple, so I made the flag a bit more open so we could see our flag texture. Then we've got our black wrap that we have on here, and then our cherry wood flagpole. So yeah, that's Course Overrides Editor. Obviously before building, always make sure you clear your T's and pins down, because they do appear as game objects, and if you build with them all in, they'll all appear in there, which you obviously don't want. But yeah, that's the Course Overrides editor tool, which I hope you'll find useful for a bit more customization on our courses.